I'm coming to use it, or I'm testing it. Whatever happens, happens.
There's no way they'll tell you that.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
or you can't
taking the money without
True. You can promote the product without letting us know that you're using it.
Some people can even say they've used
it. Yes. That is where it is unethical. That is where it is deception.
Essence, what we are saying. But the thing is, you are marketing it. So whatever you're supposed to do for it to
exactly. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show Ethics Unveiled, where we are going to be discussing ethical issues concerning public relations and marketing. Today, we are going to be talking about the view of Patricia Parsons when it comes to truth-telling and honesty. Patricia Parsons' hypothesis suggested that there are situations in which it seems that telling the whole truth is not the most ethical course of action. According to Parsons, if telling the truth outright is likely to harm one or more publics, then it is reasonable to conclude that it is probably more ethical to avoid full disclosure. After all, one of the first principles of ethics in any situation is to do no harm. Here today to help me explore this topic are my lovely panel of guests, and I'll start from my right.
I'm Amin Mohammed.
I'm Agyeiwaa Elizabeth.
I'm Otoo Ethel, Thelma.
I'm Callistus Chanagia.
Amamu. I'm Hagan Jessica.
Asare Leonora.
Grace, Ogbami.
And I'm Keziah, Moryah.
And today I am your host, Ewura-Abena, Fosua, Somuah-Boateng. Now, first things first, we are going to be talking about the importance of truth-telling and honesty when it comes to our field, which is public relations. I would like to throw the question to my mate, Callistus, to help us.
Okay, so in my understanding of the Patricia Parsons' position, it says that as PR practitioners or people in that field, what are we going to do if you find yourself having to disclose details that is going to, in one way or the other, hurt people? I think this is, in a way, it is essential that PR people remain truthful, in the sense that if you are somebody who is known to be a truthful person, it adds value, or it gives whatever you say weight, and it builds credibility in whatever you say. If you are somebody who is not trusted, or you are not in good standing in the eyes of the public that you are going to work with, whatever you say wouldn't hold water in the end. And I think by that, you are just going to be fighting a lost battle. So it is essential that PR people are truthful, or if you find yourself in a situation that demands that you say the truth, you say the entire truth and not a part of it.
So my follow-up question based off what you just said, still looking at Patricia Parsons' view, would you say that it is essential for the whole truth to be told in every situation, or under some circumstances, it is okay to tell a half-truth?
It is a very dicey situation to me. It's a dicey situation because it depends on which situation you are dealing with. When it comes to ethics or dilemmas like this, there is no solution that is cast in stone. For me, I think it depends on the situation. You would have to analyze that particular situation you are in and now weigh the effects. When you are weighing the effects, you should be conscious of who you are going to hurt and the number of people you are going to hurt. If the one you are going to hurt happens to be the one your loyalties are going to be with, then you should have to strike a balance, whether you are going to go ahead and do it, hurt the loyalties, or you are going to stick by that. So I think there is no one way answer to this question. It depends on the situation that's going to arise.
I think that Patricia herself mentioned that it's hypothetical. It depends on the situation at hand. So if the situation demands that you tell the whole truth and everyone is safe, that is what you should do. If the situation demands that you withhold some truth to save everyone, I think that's what you should do. Okay.
So I think in doing this, marketers or PR practitioners can also manipulate their communication. Yes, so you know the strategies to put in place, and then communicate to your audience.
Yeah, and I also think that, like what she said, it depends on the situation. So if you have to withhold some of the truth, you have to be transparent with, like, you give reasons why you are doing that. You weigh the effect. Is the side effect going to be more if you withhold some of the truth, or is the side effect going to be less? Whatever that the value may be, you just have to go with the flow.
Okay.
Sometimes considering if you are to weigh the side effects, if it's not going to cause so much harm, sometimes considering it doesn't matter. The truth just has to come out.
What if the
Truth hurts.
No, yeah.
I know that.
Cause a lot of implications or a lot of side harm. Yes.
I think this is about your audience. You own like a majority of trust to your audience. So in order not to erode that trust, you owe them, being truthful. You have to be truthful to them all the time. So,
Okay, so you are of the view that the truth should come out fully.
yeah.
Nothing should be withheld from the public.
Yeah.
Because of why?
Being
Honesty is like one of the basic elements in ethics. So if you are not being honest with your audience, regardless of the situation, it means you are not being ethical.
So in this case, what happens to do no harm?
No, as a PR or marketing professional, you don't owe loyalty to just your audience.
Yourself?
You have your employer, you have yourself, yes. You have the society too.
So,
But then it goes to
in touching on this matter, I think we wake up every day and all these things we hear, all the news we hear, if we are to hear the whole truth, it means that the world will be turned upside down. This wouldn't be the first time somebody is hiding a truth, a bit of a truth, just so it will save some majority. Even in the Quran, God says, if you are to lie to save a life, it is right. It is right in that sense of lying to save a life. So I don't see why, if a truth is going to harm majority of my stakeholders, why not withhold some of the truth, play on their their conscience a bit, just to save them that kind of pain, and also save my organization and myself as a whole.
Okay, so I don't know, but so explain this to me. Now you are saying withhold truth to safeguard or to minimize the effect of the information you are going to put out there. So if we value truth as a good value, or we see truth as something so dear to the practice of PR, why then don't we follow it to the latter? Why then do we practice it halfway? Because it's going to hurt just a few people. Why don't we if you are truthful, you are fully truthful?
Yes, because I also think that if you don't say the truth and then someone discovers that this is what you guys are trying to hide, it's going to also be a bit of a problem to the organization's
reputation.
Because yes, if someone should come and discover that no, if you are doing blah blah blah, it's going to you guys are going to have a problem. So just say the truth. When it hits, at least it will come down small.
You don't know what some truths are capable of.
So why don't you do the right thing? Why don't you do the right thing?
It is very necessary that even as a PR practitioner, one of your qualities is to know what to say, when to say, how to say. And so if you think what you are going to say is going to harm majority, there the how comes in. And the how deals with whether to say it all or to withhold some, to save something. So ethically, withholding some of the truth, I think is right. Telling the truth, all the truth, may be ethically right, but in that case, we step on the toes of the do no harm agenda.
Okay,
So
with all the qualities that you mentioned, confidentiality is also part of our qualities.
Exactly.
So what if in my bid to be so professional and ethical, I'm being confidential, and that means that I shouldn't share whatever I have to share with you.
Exactly. Listen, I've worked with a particular ministry before, and something came up in the public space. I am in the media space, but I was working under the legal department. I have access to every single contract. But then again, me having myself in the media space, I had every right to bring that thing out But I also thought about it in the sense that my office also I have a duty to the office to deal with confidential things, confidential.
In that case, I wouldn't necessarily say you had the right to bring out that
Okay, I think you are right because I wasn't the PR.
Yeah. And once you were under legal or once you were under a contract or you were under a confidentiality clause, it's not your right to disclose.
Exactly. So let's say, assume I'm the PR in this organization. I have every information. People need this information to know what is happening. But I also know that when this information goes out, it has the probability of causing major harm, not only to the ministry, but to the entire country. What do? I would rather save the country that harm by withholding some of the information that can cause that. I think
so in his case, it's not like he will lie, but then he wouldn't say everything.
Exactly, and that brings me back to what you hit on about not bringing out the whole truth in jail. You see, and someone finds out. In a case like that, personally, I believe that it is not necessarily lying because I didn't lie about it. You understand? I didn't tell you A is B or B is C. I told you A and left out B.
Exactly.
You understand? So, per the conversation or the discussion that we are having right now, I believe that if we are talking about it from the angle of ethics, right, it is only not ethical when you are lying.
Exactly.
But in a case where I am giving you the information, I am just not giving you all of it. Whether you find out or you don't find out, you can't hold me responsible for that because all I did was not tell you. You had every...
I also have a problem with that type of belief system because I think there's this mantra I ran with. I think that if you say a half-truth, it's a full lie. Because before you should understand something, you should understand it in its entirety before you can make judgment or you can really make a contribution.
I think a half-truth is a full lie comes in when you said a truth and attach the lie.
No.
But this time, you are talking the truth, but you decide to be silent on some aspects.
Let's look at it very practically. My name is Ewura-Abena Somuah-Boateng. If I tell you my name is Ewura-Abena and I don't add the other rest, it doesn't mean my name is not Ewura-Abena.
Your name is not something that is going to, we're not going to base on your name to make a decision.
Good. And
your name is your name, right? So you don't just say because you have given
my name is my name. So the truth is the truth. Whether I tell you all of it or not, the truth is the truth.
Two of your names and leaving the other two doesn't make you. In that context, it is still you. But where we are going to base on that, we are going to base on your name to now make a decision, and you leave the two of your names out. Then whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to be dependent on what you have given me, right? Me that I'm in the public space, I don't know. I'm going to depend on you. So whatever decision I make, and it comes out later to suggest that you didn't give me all of it. So let's say you have given me Fosua. Whatever I'm going to address you by is going to be Fosua. Then later you come and tell me, no, your name is not Fosua, your name is Erama.
That's a lie.
That is a lie.
That was not me withholding information. That's a lie. Because if you know my name is Fosua, me coming to tell you my name is not Fosua is a lie. Me come tell you, oh, you could have also addressed me as. It's added information. That way, I did not lie to you about my name. I just left out the first part of it.
A very practical example is the movie Once in April.
Not watch it before.
Nobody has watched it.
No.
It is the war in a radio presenter's word about Rwanda, the Tutsis and the Tutsis.
Yeah.
The president's plane was shot, and there was this war between the Tutsis and the Tutsis. And I think the president was either a Tutsi or a Tutsi. And so definitely it was the opposite group that shot the president's plane. Here comes the case that as a radio presenter, he went ahead to announce it, that so and so have shot the president's plane, and the whole country was in turmoil. My point is, the radio presenter made an announcement that the president's flight has been shot by the Hutsis or Tutsis. It might be right, but there was no investigation to determine that it was really shot by the opposite clan. In that case, he could have simply said the president's flight has had a crash or it has been shut down, in that case, he makes the Hutsis or the Tutsis free from this attack. Do you understand? So this is a practical, how do you call it? Example of if he had ethically withheld some of the truths, probably the country wouldn't have faced what they faced.
No.
Do I lie?
So when you say withhold some of the truth, in this example you gave, it becomes a truth if it is universally accepted that these people have shot the plane, right?
After the investigation, which was 3 years later, they realized it was true.
That those people actually shot.
It was shot by the opposite clan.
In my view, you cannot.
That was how the radio presenter had to be in prison.
You cannot fault the presenter because what I said was a fact.
At that point, it was an assumption. He's a journalist. He was supposed to verify his sources.
And everything that was happening at that time.
So all they say
only became a truth after the investigation. But the harm had already been caused.
No, but at the end of verifying, it is still true that what I said is not the wrong thing, right?
But he was still sent to jail because it was through the word from his mouth that caused turmoil in the country.
It was defamation. Defamation is against the law.
Exactly.
If you don't have any evidence, why say
it hasn't been investigation hasn't been done.
And he didn't even say the Hutsi. So he said these cockroaches have shot the president.
So
and they knew the cockroaches were the other clan.
So it's defamation.
You understand?
He's liable to be jailed.
He was wrong. He caused the nation into a war. So if he had withheld some, Rwanda wouldn't have faced what they faced.
So far, I think we've had a very fruitful discussion. We've been able to bring out our views on the topic, and so far it's been very, very productive. Okay, so now we are going to be moving on to some terminologies when it comes to ethics, specifically in public relations and marketing. We know that when it comes to the topic of ethics, there are a few terms. We have the utilitarian approach, we have the deontological approach. Right now, we are going to dissect the various approaches. So I would like to.
All right, so I think Parsons' idea is in line with the consequentialist approach, which is the utilitarianism, in the sense that it seeks to minimizing harm and do more good to the greater number of people, irrespective of the approach, whether you will have to withhold some. But a deontologist will also invoke the moral actions that no, you owe a strict moral duty to your audience or whoever is involved. In this case, what do you do? But I personally think I have a Machiavellian tactics approach to my life. And so I think the utilitarian approach is the best way to go, in the sense that it is better to save a greater good of people than to cause harm by going the deontologist way, knowing very well that the principal consequence of being moral is going to cause harm.
So you are a utilitarian.
Exactly. Basically, my life is based on the Machiavellian approach.
So do you think that those people you are going to disenfranchise, or those people your decision is going to hurt, do you think they don't matter?
Listen, I think here, in using the utilitarian approach, I think it is very important that we draw the line between deception and withholding information. We create a balance between the two, such that whatever we are telling the people will not be a deception. Do you understand? It will not be a deception. It will be the truth. Let me use this. I'm a Muslim, and so I love using. There was a point where the Prophet Muhammad, may peace of Allah be upon him, was sitting with his disciples, and he was telling them, do not do this, do not do this. And one of the disciples kept asking, what if we do it this way? If we do this, what happens? Okay, he answers, what if doing it this way? And the prophet replied that if you keep asking too much to find more details, you will end up harming yourself. Because the more you go in deeper, you realize that the more the rules become strict. And so God also says that what you don't know, you will not be judged according to what you don't know. And so it is better that the truth that is available to you, which is doing the good, you uphold it and then you let it flow, than to find details that will harm you. This is what I think.
Yeah, I get it. But my argument also is that regardless of all of that, you owe loyalty to all your publics, right? Not
Yes.
to some of them. So if you are going to disenfranchise a few, or what you are going to do is going to hurt a few, then that should also be a cause of concern. It's a cause of concern because they also matter. So what you should be doing is, if you cannot satisfy everybody, I think you shouldn't be making any decision at all.
No. This is the point where the Potter box come in.
Yes, thank you.
So using the Potter box, we can know who we are being loyal to. And it's for the greater good of people, which is going to save not only the organization or me, the PR.
But
So
even with the
Patricia's
Potter
argument
box-
too is that the fundamentals of ethics is to do no harm.
Regardless.
To do no
In
harm.
that case,
there's no-
Patricia's view is a utilitarian view.
Yes.
So-
Now, even with the
Can we hold
So right now you are invoking the deontologist approach.
Yes.
On it.
Yes.
I think we're making very, very strong points, but I think this side of our table is talking too much. Let's move here. Please, what's your view?
Okay. I think I agree with what this guy said, but then I think that if you want to say the truth, then that means there's a situation at hand, and no matter what, it's going to affect someone, right? We have situational approach or theory.
So, in as much as Patricia's hypothesis was rooted in utilitarian approach, I think we can also consider situational ethics, which says no principle is absolute. So, in some situations, you can do away with the utilitarian deontology and all that, and then consider the situation at hand.
That's why we have different theories. So wherever your thing fits, then use a theory.
Which thing?
So just like I mentioned earlier, I think to me, in this scenario we are dealing with, Patricia's position, I think the ideal theory to apply is the situational theory.
Yes.
Because just like I said earlier, there is no one solution that is fit for all. It depends on the situation, and as at the time it arises, you have to analyze the details of it to know what to do at what particular time. So
Since we are talking about situations and situational ethics on theory, have you all heard about EIB's Somuah-Boateng issue?
Yes.
We all know. So now there has been speculations around regarding Somuah and then Nanaba with whatever you get the image I'm trying to good. Now, formally, EIB has not come out to say that this is what our people are doing, but people go about with the speculations that this is what they are doing. And now Somuah-Boateng's issue came up, and then EIB now releases a press statement saying that they are now going to do investigations. Before now, EIB has an idea what her employees are doing already. So I want to know if the approach of being quiet about the issue before Somuah-Boateng's issue is anything related to ethics or not.
no. So in that situation, I think EIB couldn't have done anything.
Couldn't they
Before,
have also
They couldn't have done
brought
anything
out a
until
press-
there's something to hold on to. You don't base on public speculations and just start dealing with your staff. So I think their silence was warranted. It's the ideal thing to do. You have to wait until something happens, and when it happened, they were prompt to release a communique that they have heard the issue and they are trying to do their investigation. So what I'm thinking is that they are trying to reduce, or they are trying to minimize any wrong decision. So they have to understand the issue in its entirety before they can take any formal punishment or try to sweep it under the carpet. And even Nanaba suffered the same punishment when she was with Media Generals.
Exactly.
And that was
So-
our deception when she
So
did
this
a
thing,
Photoshop about something.
I think it is ethical because people are of the view that EIB has not disciplined Somuah or Nanaba because of their loyalty to EIB during the days where EIB couldn't pay its workers. These two were there for them. So at this point, I think it is ethical because EIB is weighing the loyalties and realize that no, Sewa and Anaba has actually stayed with us. They are our loyalties. We can't disown them. In as much as we want to go with a public appeal by appealing to our public, I think their loyalty is also exactly outweighing them. So it's
So I think you see that is my problem when it comes to
right now,
all of these things.
The situation in which they found themselves is what they are basing on.
No, that is why I have a problem with all of these things. Now, when we are going to
so they've not concluded yet.
when we are going to spare people or we are going to side with people based on their loyalties they have for us, it becomes dangerous because when the person does something that is so wrong and you still want to consider their loyalties, I think that's going to be a problem. It is better in this situation because this is her personal life. Let's say it is something that has dire effects on the organization or it is going to grind the whole organization to a halt. Are you still going to spare them because they have been loyal to you before, or you are going to stand on that? So I think, just like I mentioned earlier, it depends on every situation with the evidences or the details it comes with.
Okay, so I think right now, based off the example you just gave, we are seeing very, very evidently that situational seems to be the best course of action.
Yes.
Right. Great. So now we're going to talk about social media. We're going to talk about the digital aspect of public relations and marketing in relation to ethics. I mean, I don't know. Am I the only one of the view that right now there are lots of things going on social media, especially when it comes to PR and marketing. A lot of people are on social media selling, marketing, doing all sorts of things. And personally, I feel like it has put into the space a lot of leeway to be very unethical when it comes to what they put out there, what they don't put out there, all in the name of influencing, all in the name of promotion, all in the name of selling. So I want to put that on the table right now. Who has something to say?
So, in as much as social media can be like a very positive way to, introduce your brand, it can also have a very negative one. Example would be influencers. Some influencers are being paid to advertise certain brands. Okay, but then they will be truthful to us that, this is a paid for brand, so I'm doing because I've been paid, right? But then they promote the brand as if they have been using it, deceiving the viewers in order to, get our attention to buy these brands, which I think is very much unethical.
Is that deception?
Yes.
But I think that's their own creative way of communicating whatever they want to say.
That is pure deception.
The word is deception.
It's pure deception because
So, for instance,
the end user wouldn't know that what you are doing is actually a job.
Maybe I'll be buying
So
it because
if you are doing that influencer thing as a job and you are going to get paid for it, you should let us know that this thing I am advertising to you, I am being paid to tell you about it, right?
Now, most of them
use
make it aware that they are being paid for it.
so right
now it is because of the discussion of ethics. That's why.
The argument right now is that since you are saying that most of them, yes, I've seen it a lot that most of the time they'll put their paid promotion, paid ad. So the argument here is that those who are not doing that are not being ethical with what they've been taxed to do. Because assuming I'm an influencer, I have been paid by a certain brand. I've been paid by, let's say, a waist game brand to tell you that I drank this thing for 3 weeks and now all the things you are seeing.
When they were coming to you, already had the bottles.
You understand? So right now, if in a situation whereby you make it known that this is a paid ad, right? You can go on to let the people know that as they know that it's a paid ad, they know that you've not been using this thing from time, right? So your audience has it in mind that you've been paid to use this thing. Understand? So I'm coming to use it. or I'm testing it. Whatever happens, happens.
There's no way they'll tell you that.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
or you
So
can
if
give
she that's taking the money, no.
True. You can promote the product without letting us know that
Some
you're
people
using
can
it.
even say they've used
They've
this
used
product.
it.
Yes.
That is where it is
That is the
unethical.
deception.
That is where it is
So
deception.
in essence, what we are
No,
saying.
but the thing is, you are marketing it. So whatever you're supposed to do for it to.
Exactly.
No, you don't have to deceive your audience.
what they're doing is right.
They're not supposed to do
Yeah.
that.
Alright,
So I think
The
that
key word there is influencing.
I
So
think
But you're not
whatever
supposed
you are
to
going.
put. You're not
In
supposed
as
to
much
deceive
as you are
to get-
influencing.
Alright, so,
I'm influencing you. I'm not deceiving you.
no, you.
It's a form of advertising.
Unfortunately, there's one of us who was not able to be here today. However, she still sent in something for us to listen to. So we'll go ahead and listen to that.
Parsons' position delves into complex interplay between truth-telling and harm avoidance, which are central tenets of ethical decision-making, where information spreads rapidly and can have far-reaching consequences. So we can talk about where Parsons' argument is based on the ethical principles of non-malfeasance or do no harm. In situations where telling the truth could lead to significant harm, such as 1. We have physical harm or danger to individuals, severe financial or economic harm, and then we have emotional distress or trauma. We would want to look at how Parsons' proposition delves into telling the truth. Let's look at the scenario where the social media platform handling user data breaches. Suppose a company discovers a security flaw that could compromise the personal information of millions of users. Disclosing the full extent of the breach immediately could instant panic among the user base, leading the widespread distrust and potentially harming the company's reputation. So in such case, the company might opt for a phased disclosure, maybe a phased disclosure strategy where patronizing harm mitigations while still fulfilling its ethical duty to inform users. And then we can also say that withholding or delaying full disclosure might be a more ethical approach. This could involve gradual release of information to minimize shock or harm, or framing the truth in a way that reduces harm while still being honest. Or we can also say omitting sensitive details that could cause unnecessary harm, providing support or resources to mitigate the harm. However, it's crucial to note that this approach should be taken with caution and only in extreme situations. Truth-telling is essential for building trust, credibility, and long-term relationships. Withholding information can lead to further damage or erosion of trust if discovered. All that Patricia Parsons' position highlights is the complexity of crisis communication and the need for ethical decision-making that balances truth-telling with the potential consequences of the truth or of that truth. Yeah.
You realize that big digital giants like Google, Facebook, TikTok, and all that stuff, who control huge data, they are always faced with ethical dilemmas here, day in, day out. A very good example is when TikTok CEO was taken to court in the US. He was taken to court because China has a very strict digital rule, and the US is a free zone. So it is assumed that he was manipulating the algorithms such that educational contents are being broadcasted to the children in China. Whilst all these nonsense you and I are watching every day are being broadcasted to read.
That's not nonsense.
Quote or unquote. Thank you for that. Quote or unquote. In that case, I think ethically, if he was doing that, although the Chinese digital rules is very strict and it binds on him that if you want your product to be in China, if you want TikTok to be in China, then we do not want these contents. These are the contents we subscribe to. But US and our part of the world, Ghana doesn't even have digital laws as we speak. So in that case, was he being ethical or non-ethical? Considering the fact that he knows what he broadcasts in China. But we here are being broadcasted chaff.
I think the algorithm works with what you are interested in watching. Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you are interested in watching comedy, you are interested in watching
educational
that is what you get.
That is good. But let me also tell you that algorithms are mostly manipulated.
Yes.
You see, here's where I wouldn't say here's where I have an issue, but here's where the thing with the algorithm or the thing with what is broadcasted to us here it's plainly what you are able to put on your platform is monitored. There are certain things that can be banned.
Yes.
You understand? If you post something on TikTok which per the let's say
Guidelines.
the guidelines, thank you, per the guidelines of TikTok, you've posted something that is not in accordance to what they have said. This is what you can post. What
They have their terms and
exactly. So right now, as I cannot even put something there that's, let's say, does not have a chance of being removed. You understand? I've put out content. Let's say I've posted 10 videos. Out of the 10 videos, 2 of them are against the guidelines. Those 2 can be taken down. You understand? So now from the remaining 8, that is where the algorithm starts to work. If from the remaining 8, a group of people are watching 5, and they keep watching that same content based on the same ideas from other content creators, that is what their algorithm will continue to produce for them.
Now, let me tell you how algorithms are manipulated. What you were saying is right. When I'm posting on YouTube, I'm supposed to indicate if the video has a paid production within, a paid ad.
Yeah.
Like you are a business. You have told me to advertise your thing in my video. I must indicate that there is a paid promotion within the video. Do you understand? Also, there are certain guidelines that I must follow, which is copyrights. Most of these guidelines, they are just copyrights, children not appearing in videos and stuff. If you follow the Russia and Ukraine war, if you posted anything that was in favor of Vladimir Putin on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, it will be flagged down. But if you post anything that was in favor of the US, the Ukraine, anything, it was being broadcasted to people who doesn't even care about the war. That is how algorithms are manipulated. BBC, a whole BBC, Vladimir Putin made a 2-hour speech, and only 30 seconds of the speech was broadcasted on BBC, ignoring all the 1 hour 58 minutes. This is the algorithm. These are some of the things they do to make you think things that they want you to think.
Friendly. Exactly.
Do you understand? And so, don't you think all these big organizations are being unethical? This is the reason why China says, because Facebook is being controlled by the US government, and so they want to infiltrate into their culture, we have banned Facebook.
Yeah.
You will realize that the reason why you are able to walk at the beach with bikini is because you watched something from the Western. These are some of the things that are manipulated to make sure that. So these organizations are rather pushing algorithms to us. Although I understand that these phones are able to track all your actions on different apps to recommend to you the best options. But you should also acknowledge the fact that most of these organizations are being unethical in trying to get us to think in some way that we are not supposed to.
I know some of us are aware of DTV admins, new admin, social media admin. How many of us know that?
Yeah.
So he or she. For the purpose of this conversation, let me use a he for the person. He has been doing so well with GTV's presence on social media. Because of that, some of us have paid our TV license and all of that. So recently, with EIB and Sewamihe's issue again, he made a comic post glorifying one of GTV's newscasters then. Yes, and then labeling her with some glorifying, that praising her in that sort. That meant that was throwing shade at EIB and their Sewamihe case. Now, one of our lecturers, Madame Paulina Kranche, is she a doctor? Okay, so she commented that she thinks that social media managers should be PR people or should be PR inclined, in the sense that you are managing an organization's public presence digitally. So if you don't know anything about managing the public identity of an organization or a firm, then you are actually in the free zone to do anything unethical, anything that comes to your mind, you're going to do it. If you don't know anything about PR, social media management should not just be a soft skill that you acquire. So even if you are doing that right now, it means that the age we are going forward, and it's likely that these unethical issues are going to inform practice and say that henceforth, social media managers of every firm, every personality, every brand should be a PR inclined person or a marketing inclined person. So going forward, I think that all of us, whether we are employing people or we are doing it for other people, we should also have it in our mind that this PR thing we are doing should exceed the office, right? Because we are moving into the digital age, and most of us are already in the digital space already. So I just think that Madame's suggestion is a good step for us to follow, actually.
Yeah, so I think that's a good clarion call. But you see, when it comes to digital presence or social media presence, it's going to be very hard to regulate or be able to follow everything to the letter. That is a place where, in fact, I can say that people actually live online than they live in person. Almost every human being now in this generation has one social media handle or the other.
Yeah.
And this is not a place where you see them physically. So it is going to be difficult for us to regulate all of that. In that scenario you gave, I think it is not actually an outright wrong that the GTV admin has done.
Yeah.
These are mechanisms they also use so that they can boost their viewership and engagement, right?
Yes.
It's insensitive for him to have done that, but is it actually the wrong thing to do? He's trying to do that so that they can revive their media house, right?
Yes.
We all know that GTV has been in the mud for a period now, and for them to get somebody like that, you will do anything or you go as far as you can to bring your media house back into the spotlight. And I think that's what the guy was trying to do.
But doing
Yes,
anything
and
can also affect the reputation.
That's why I said it's going to be complex for you to regulate people's media presence, right?
No.
So if it is not an outright, a
So
GTV worker is a government worker,
So
right?
they have
The
to.
organization can regulate.
The truth of the matter is that the organization loves what the guy is doing.
Yes, and that is why ethics come in.
You see?
Okay, that's
It is
where
not a
ethics
wrong.
come in.
That's why I said it's not a what the guy
It's
did.
not wrong,
It's
and
only
it's not
insensitive.
right.
Me, it depends on how your sensitivity level is. I don't see that as a crime. I don't see that as a wrong. Yes. What the post.
Let's calm
If I'm
down.
quoting, we also have beautiful something.
The guy said that this is a woman who has worked with GTV for a period, has risen through the ranks. She doesn't cut corners to get into success.
Yes,
This is a harmless post, right? It depends on you if you want to draw lines to link it.
Hello. Hi.
If the cap is
can we calm down for a second? This conversation that we are having right now, are we speaking of it from the point of view of what the posts on our lecturer?
You are speaking. Okay, I was
it from her point of view, talking about how every marketer of every organization should be PR inclined? Or are we speaking about the ethical backing of what the guy did? Because if we are speaking of the post, then the issue is not with the guy.
No.
Like Agyeiwaa said, the issue is from who hired him. Because if I am hiring a marketer for my firm, and based off this comment or this post, I'm looking for somebody who is PR inclined. Somebody who is PR inclined already knows that maybe this thing I'm coming to post is not going to sit well with my audience or whatever it is. So I wouldn't do that. That's to even put aside what the institution loves or not, because as the PR person, I already know that this is something I'm not supposed to, so I won't even do it, right? But if we are talking about it from the guy's ethical perspective or the lady's ethical perspective, so please, what are we talking about?
So
the first one.
let me say this.
The
Madam Paulina,
No.
Madam Paulina made the comment
Based on
considering ethical issues.
Yes.
But let's also understand that the guy is not a PR.
You don't know.
we have
no idea.
Over the years, GTV had always had a PR. And as of now, they still have. The guy is a social media manager.
Okay.
And you and I know that as an organization or as a social media enthusiast, in order to get my influence on social media, I must chase clout.
Of course.
In whatever way I will chase the clout, it's good.
As long
Others are lying just to get the clout. But he insisted that I will not lie. I will rather throw shade indirectly to people to get the clout.
We do not call
So
it anyhow.
Anyhow.
So I was
that's-
actually
no.
talking in that sense regarding the digital PR that we are heading towards.
Exactly.
And
No,
regarding
so to answer your question, she wants to know whether this example we are using, we are supposed to use it to situate whether it is ethical for the guy to have done that or
That's-
not, or we are
Exactly.
using it,
Okay.
or we are using it to, if you like, understand what is right or wrong for the guy to have done, right?
You know what? Let me ask the question straight. First question. Let's answer the questions one at a time, because I think we are losing track of what we are talking about. Yes or no? Is what the social media manager did ethical? Is it ethical?
in what sense?
Yes.
I'm sure social
Yes,
media
it is.
managers have their ethics as well.
It is ethical.
Yes, it is.
It's ethical for him to have posted what he posted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't have anyone.
Great. Beautiful. Now, on to my second question. We're talking about GTV, right? GTV, as an established organization, which, like you rightly mentioned, they have a PR division, right? Well, I don't know about how things work at GTV, but from some of the places I've worked, or from somewhere that I have worked, I know that when you're talking about the PR division, marketing sometimes comes under the PR division. The social media, all of that comes under the PR division.
Yes.
So if we're talking about ethics under PR, and based off the ethical point of view, we might see what he did as unethical, right? Wasn't what he was going to be posted supposed to be screened by professionals, PR professionals? And if it wasn't, how is GTV managing their
Because the admin has been in control for months now.
That is why they left him to do whatever he wanted to.
Well, we can't tell what actually went on, whether it was screened or not.
But now, if you say that you are trying to create the impression that the guy was wrong,
Yes.
No.
a wrong
I'm trying to.
is not a wrong until you are able to point
Why it is wrong.
why it is wrong.
No, she stated it frantically. She said that
Right, this is the last.
social media comes under PR to her knowledge. So if it's under PR, then it means that whatever is coming out, someone should vet it to see that it's correct.
So are you trying to say what was posted was unethical?
No, I'm not saying it was ethical. I'm not saying it was unethical. The question I am asking right now is that whether people are viewing it as unethical, whichever problem it has caused right now, which is causing people to think about, yeah, exactly. was their content not screened?
Okay.
Because if it was screened per the ethics of a PR practitioner, right? I'm sure all of these things could have been avoided.
I want to differ from that. The content the guy made didn't
Was public.
it didn't harm anybody.
Yeah.
He didn't mention anybody.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It was just that he posted it at a particular time where there was tension.
Exactly. So,
And
like
so-
you said earlier, as a PR practitioner, you should know what to say.
I, as a PR practitioner, will tell you that. No, listen.
That is the, you strike while the iron is hot. That was a good time for you to
That was the good time for him to. I, as a
If you
PR
want to-
practitioner, listen.
Public statement, the face mask, the price shows you like
This is a competition.
so there's time for you to market well.
If you did multimedia writing, if you did writing in multimedia, it will tell you that MTN, Tigo, whatever, they throw shades at each other.
So what is your
Supposing I am the PR, supposing I'm the PR, I will tell you, if you take me to court, supposing you think I have caused you a harm, I will just tell you that we had our content planned for the week, and that was the time. So it just met the incident, and please go.
Okay, so wait.
I have a question for you. Why do you think it was a wrong time?
I'm not saying it.
She's not saying that. No, the fact that
But the question proves that you are coming from the angle that
No,
was
but
wrong.
No, I think that it is
She's trying to ask a question, and she's trying, based on the same question, to pick a position.
No, question proves that you already
You
have
know
a
what?
position.
Sorry. You know what? On that note, let's leave it to our audience to decide.
Wait, please.
We are proceeding.
Okay. So
I'm
now-
trying to.
Yes, please give me one last comment. So I'm thinking that the PR people, the PR professionals, actually picked that stance of unethical attitude because of the nation's mission at large. Because under the same post, someone said that at the opening of GTV in 1965, Kwame Nkrumah made a poignant statement. He said that the object of the station was not to cater for cheap entertainment and commercialization. And this was instructive. So it means that in as much as social media has to chase the clouds, ethically or unethically, GTV is not supposed to be following the trends because everyone is following the trends. I am saying that she is not supposed to follow the trends because then why do you know what to do? You know what to do because you have a reason, right?
On that note, we are going to leave it to the audience to decide as to whether this issue was ethical, as to whether this issue was unethical. I haven't taken a stance, but people seem to think that I've picked a stance. Anyway, in conclusion, in relation to what we earlier spoke about Patricia Parsons' view on the matter of ethics, on truth, and honesty, I think we as a panel here have come to the conclusion that the best theory in which to follow this, to apply this, is to use the situational theory, situational approach. And on that note, we would like to say thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we'll see you in our next episode. Also, we would like to include that this discussion here today is solely for educational purposes. Everything that was said, every contribution that was given was for a term project. So every discussion here today has solely been educational and for the benefit of university work. We would like to acknowledge our lecturer, Mr. Edem Kuju, for the opportunity to be able to hold this discussion. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in our next video. If there's a next video, we'll see you in our next video. Thank you. Bye.